Welcome. My name is Raphael Heilig. I'm the founder and managing director of Terraport. I have the pleasure to welcome you today to a discussion round about innovative software and processes in cast development. Some years ago, we at Terraport developed, driven by our customers' need, a software suite called FEM-cast. It's basically a detailed quality analysis of cast parts on their 3D CAD models, very much like simulation, only with the idea to be easier and faster. The focus of the application is purchasing departments, design and development departments, and sales. With me today are Dr. David Job from Bosch and Mr. Christoph Demmen from Bocar Germany. Welcome, David. Welcome, Christoph. It's a pleasure to have you. To get into the discussion, I would like to ask you to tell us a little bit about your responsibilities at your company. Would you start, please, David?
Yeah, first of all, Raphael, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity today to be part of this discussion round. Maybe a few words first to my personal background. Currently, I'm 37 years old, and I first got into contact with the casting industry during my apprenticeship as a model making technician, which I did after I finished school. And I really got this one moment there, standing in the foundry in front of a very complex core box mold, and then I got hooked, and I thought I'd really like to be the guy one day who develops this. And this is where I decided to go my professional way in the casting industry. And therefore I decided to study casting technology in Aachen in Germany, followed by PhD thesis focusing on hybrid structural components in high pressure die casting. And after a phase of approximately 2 years working as a project manager in an automotive supplier foundry, I found my way to Bosch, and currently I'm working as a casting technology expert in the Bosch purchasing department. And as you might know, Bosch is the biggest automotive supplier worldwide, and the corporate purchasing department is the service partner of all automotive related business units at Bosch, and therefore it gives me the opportunity to see really a lot of different casting parts, working at the interface between Bosch purchasing, our suppliers, but also our engineering and development departments. And this is what I'm currently doing.
Christoph, could you tell us about you at Bocar Germany?
I'm a casting engineer. I studied in Clausthal-Zellerfeld in the center of Germany. And since a few years, I'm in the Bocar Group. The Bocar Group is a Mexican automotive supplier. Our main businesses are high pressure die casting, semi-permanent mold casting, and plastic injection. And since a few years, I am responsible in Germany in our engineering and sales office in Stuttgart for the simulation and also for advanced development topics.
Well, thank you for the introduction. We all know that finite element methodology simulation of cast solidification processes is a well-known state-of-the-art process in the development of cast parts. Obviously, your company procured an additional solution in FEM-cast. Could you tell us what the expectations regarding its benefits were? Could they really be confirmed in practical use? David, what's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I see two major benefits. It's on the one hand, it's the simplicity. On the other hand, it's the speed. So speaking first of the simplicity, I can apply FEM-cast without any deep knowledge about full-scale FEM-based process simulation. I don't need to be trained in detail in the usage of this FEM-cast tool. From my experience, usually a really compacted basic training is enough that you can start working on it, and that you can start producing really usable results. And also, you don't need that much tool knowledge, process knowledge. You just need the part, and don't need to make a complex mesh. You don't need to assign material groups or add, as I said, tool or process information. The part is enough, and this brings us to the second benefit, the time advantage. From my experience, I think we can start producing casting related results on that parts more or less one and a half year earlier than we are basically in the position that we have all this tool and process information, so that we could start to use the full scale process simulation. And these are the two major benefits that I see.
Thank you. Now, like coming back to the simplicity, usually at our customers, there are three major departments that use FEM-cast. Of course, it's like the classical thing, and one of our first adopters, Knorr-Bremse, who helped us develop the tool, is using it there, is the design department, where actually like designers validate their constructions. Others use it in procurement and sales departments to also kind of get technical knowledge, either when kind of giving a contract to a foundry as a tier 1 supplier, for example, or when receiving a request for a quotation from an automotive manufacturer or tier 1 supplier, and when you are in the situation to answer the question, can you manufacture that? How fast can you manufacture it, and at what price? Christoph, what about Bocar? Where is FEM-cast in use at Bocar Germany?
Yes, we use it in the tooling department, and the tooling department is responsible for the mold design, but also to make the part a castable part. So also part design issues are in the responsibility of the tooling department, and also they assist to the quotation team. Yeah? The big advantage is that the tooling department don't need to ask the simulation group for additional analysis. They can do it by their own. And the simulation group is very occupied with feed forward and feed backward simulations in the serial production, and also with new projects. And so we just save time with this tool.
We learned it's fast, it's easy to use. Now the big question is the quality then really kind of sufficient in practical use? Have you ever had the chance to maybe compare results of the simulation to earlier created results with FEM-cast, or even kind of use the analysis of FEM-cast to compare findings on a cast prototype at Bosch?
Yes, we did that for sure. And of course, you have to be aware that this FEM-cast is a geometry-based analysis, and it's not a full-scale process simulation. So it leaves out all the filling-related effects, all the tool and process-based and material-based effects, but it shows quite a lot. And we really made the complete chain. So compare the FEM-cast result with the FEM-based process simulation result, and also compared that with X-ray or CT results of actual parts. And it showed that, for example, in terms of solidification related defects, the match is quite good. I would say roughly in the range of 75%, which is, given the time of the availability of this information very, very early in the whole development phase, it's quite a useful and quite a helpful result.
Thank you. Christoph, what about the use of FEM-cast at Bocar? Have you made similar or different experiences?
Yes, also we have to do a comparison between simulation and reality on one side to close the gap between simulation and reality. And what we have done in the past also to compare the FEM-cast results with the simulation results. And yes, for sure, we get more information out of the simulation software, but we also get informations out of FEM-cast, which are not usually or typical to get it out of a simulation software. For example, the draft angle analysis, a wall thickness analysis, the clearance, undercuts, small radii, all these issues normally a simulation tool cannot deliver.
Awesome, thank you. David, you mentioned before you're working in a procurement department, so I guess Bosch is also using it at the procurement department. Could you explain a little bit more how, and if so, if also other departments at Bosch make use of the software?
Yes, yeah, you're right, for sure. We are using it in our casting expert team located in the Bosch corporate purchasing sector, where we understand ourselves sort of a quality gate before our designs leave our organization and go to our suppliers for the first time. And it helps us a lot to make really a quick quality check. Is this design mature enough to be put on the market, to ask our suppliers for quotations, or is it a better idea to send it back to our engineering department and ask for an internal design optimization loop? And this is the second field of application. So we have sort of in a pilot or early adopter mode right now, our engineering department, which develops the e-axles and e-machines, they also have it in use. And of course, this makes it for me as a casting expert in the purchasing department very convenient, because I can really rely that our CAD engineers who use the software themselves will produce much more mature designs before they shift it to us, to the purchasing, and we pass it on to the suppliers.
Thank you. You mentioned e-axles and e-parts, so it's good to hear for all of us being in the casting industry that the casting still has its place, even though we all know that the combustion engine and diesel are probably somewhere near the end of its lifetime. interesting insight. Now, when we developed FEM-cast in early stages, we were oftentimes challenged by our clients that yes, it produces results, and it produces the results and the analysis results very fast, but we still need quite a lot of time for our engineers, for our technicians to review the results and decide which ones are really critical regarding the design. So they came back to us and said, you got to improve that. You got to kind of develop intelligent filter mechanisms to make not only the calculation fast, but also the filtering of the results in a way that the review of the result works very fast. My question, maybe to both of you, maybe Christoph, you will start. What's your experience? How much time do I need to invest if I have like a complex cast part and I want to have a complete analysis with FEM-cast? Is it a week? Is it a day? What's your experience?
Yes, there's no clear answer because it depends who will you ask. Yeah, if you ask the customer, he want it tomorrow. If you ask the guy who is responsible for that, he will say approximately 1 week. Yeah, you can have analysis in 1 week, depending on the part size, on how detailed should it be. Should it be a complete quotation with a complete process analysis or just a part castability check? But yeah, at the end, as faster as you are, the better, huh? Because you save time and money, and you save resources in your structure, no? to have these things done quickly. Yeah? And as I mentioned before, as faster as you are, the more happier your customer.
Like maybe changing the aspect of the question a little bit, David, if I throw a cost part, like let's say medium complexity, a housing maybe for an electric engine over the fence to your engineers and tell them analyze it with FEM-cast, what's my chance to get it back? How much time do I need to invest till they come up with a report? What the critical fields of this part are?
Yeah, you know, I'm confronted with such requests myself, so I think I can answer it for myself. And I would say again, it depends a little bit. But if I don't calculate all results that would be available, if I really focus on the 2 or 3 that are interesting me the most, then I would probably be able to give you a feedback in 30 minutes. If you don't ask for, let's say, a nice and fancy management presentation, if we are just setting up a short meeting, you might even be able to get some of the results live. For example, the maxima analysis most often doesn't take longer than a minute to calculate. My personal favorite result is a chain of ISO surfaces where you can really start to build up a feeling how will this part solidify. On my laptop, this takes, depending on the complexity and the wall thickness of the parts, it takes around 15 minutes to half an hour. Yeah, so I would say roughly 2 hours until I have a basic understanding of the cast.
Thank you, David. Now, talking about software is always also talking about processes. We have some features that also might be used to change your processes, the way you work. It means, for example, generate reports for every cast part that you write an offer for. Is Bocar making use of actually like certain process requirement in their, let's say, for example, sales process based on software reports?
From time to time, the sales department asks us for our feedback, and then it's very helpful to create in a short period of time a report with detailed analysis.
So another aspect maybe of the processes, which we also experienced from other customers, they often say, well, we would like all engineers sort of to use the same parameters for their analysis. Maybe one for larger parts, one for more fine constructions. We kind of introduced a so-called template management for that. Do you make use of such a thing, David, at Bosch?
Yes, if I remember correct, then I don't know if it was us in the first place who asked you for that, or if we were just one of the early adopters. But yeah, exactly. Of course, we see, especially in those new fields like electrification, but also the fuel cell business, we first see a platform development and deriving from that a lot of customer-related variants, which are all in the same part family. And to analyze them in a comparable manner, it helps a lot if if several engineers or even myself, if we use the reusable and identical parameter sets within a specific part family, and therefore the template management is helpful, definitely.
Yes, I totally agree, because normally we make a standard, so an Excel sheet or a PDF document with all the input parameters, for example, for the simulation. And there, these tools to have these ranges company dependent integrated in the software is a very helpful.
Coming to a resume, the title of the discussion talked about additional or new processes and software in the cast development. So I think, and you two feel free to interrupt me if I'm wrong, we can for sure say, yes, there is room for virtual quality assurance software aside the classical FEM simulation, and everyone not using it is somehow missing on potential for optimization, especially kind of also when it comes to departments outside of the FEM simulation experts. I think it's never a process where an additional software replaces a simulation, but it enriches the quality and enriches the processes, and therefore kind of validates its cost or price in the implementation and rollout of such a thing. Well, a big thank you to you two, Christoph and David. You as a viewer, thank you very much for being with us. If you are interested into diving deeper into the topic, I'd like to invite you next week. We will have within the Eurogus Mexico a roundtable meeting where we can invite you as a viewer to join the session and to participate in the discussion. Maybe you have detailed questions. As I mentioned, look at the timetable. It's 1 week from now, where you can jump into the discussion yourself. Other than that, we wish you a very successful and fruitful rest of the Eurogus Mexico. We hope you're enjoying this new form of networking that we're forced to do, so to say. Overall, thank you guys for joining me. Thank you for your attention, and see you all soon.